Went to the vet a few times, and she said this is probably just old dog stuff, and I kind of didn't want to accept that as the answer for Carmen, who's been just a great, lively animal for, almost 15 years now. You feel good? One more time. Oh my God.
Yep, her tail's up.
Oh my God. More? This is unbelievable.
That's great.
Yes. He is gasping for air in the middle of the night 3 to 4 times, where he'll be fast asleep and then he will stop breathing, gasp, and then pant. And it's pretty distressing that he was in a situation where he was severely neglected, and consequently that neglect included his teeth. They didn't clean his teeth at all. That infection affected the nerve that produces tears for his eye, and one eye doesn't produce tears at all.
Oh, wow.
And the other eye has impairments too. He probably can see light, shadow, depends on the day. There's good days, there's bad days. And he came in with his nails grown into his pads, where when I cut the nail, it was the pad that bled, not the nail.
Yeah, that's wild.
But I try to keep everything in the same place for him, and he's amazing. He gets along really well, but unfortunately that neglect has had some long-term effects on his overall health. His liver isn't so great, his kidneys not so great, his heart has some trouble. But luckily right now he only has topical eye medication, with the exception of the pneumonia antibiotics that just happened recently.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are friends. And he is 13 and 5 months. After he left, within 30 minutes, he grabbed his toy, he brought it over, and he dropped it. And of course, I haven't seen this for so long, it made me tear up a little bit, and then that confused him. Even though they were happy tears, he was confused. And so then he dropped it and then returned. He tripped on it and then picked it up and took it. Then a couple days passed where nothing, and I think yesterday or the day before, he once again picked it up, and then I saw it in his bed. So there's something. You know, this guy was adopted with a good number of medical issues. Unfortunately, that was further challenged when he aspirated bilaterally and had to be raced into aftercare, where he required 24 hours of oxygen support just to make it through the night. Regrettably, the aftermath of aspirating caused permanent lung changes, where chronic bronchitis has settled in along with a blockage. This meant that he was waking up 3 to 7 times a night, gasping for air. That's every 1 to 2 hours where he would stop breathing. It is incredibly distressing for all those involved. We, of course, worked very close with his vet care team, tried multiple things, but given his compounding medical needs, they felt that what they had to offer had simply run its course. They didn't have any other suggestions. We were now talking about quality of life and comfort. So we contacted Nels, and after just a few sessions, we are regaining our nights back. What a gift.
Well, Tiger was ill. I had taken her to the vet a couple of times, and they could not figure out what was wrong with her. Pretty much overnight, she just lost all strength in her back end and was falling over and had no control in her back end and walking. She had an episode for a few weeks, and then she recovered somewhat, and then she had another episode, at which point I took her to the vet for x-rays, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. And I was tired of hearing people say, well, come on, just suck it up, she's too old, because this was not her. There was something wrong, and I wasn't willing to give up. I had to absolutely explore every avenue. By using Skype, the sessions were easy and quick and effective. Wow, look at that. The biggest improvement I see with Tiger is she's got her spirits back. She's back to her old self.
Bella is 10 and a half years old now. And arthritis in both front legs, and she has some ligament problems in her back legs. She does take medication for. Back in August, when we decided to come and see you, was when she was doing really poorly. Didn't want to walk. We would take her for walks, very short walks, and she'd have to sit down 3 or 4 times along the way. And it was just, she wasn't moving around as well. Right now, the last few days have been a little she's just been extra gimpy. And I did find out, unbeknownst to me, I thought her back end was her problem. So
Yeah.
she does apparently have arthritis in the front. I was worried. I thought, oh my goodness, is this the beginning of, we're going to have to think about, losing her? She knows. I think she's
Hey,
doing
you.
much better.
Yeah, let's go walk around just a little bit more so I can see how she's doing here. She's really got a little more pep, doesn't she?
She does.
Yeah.
I mean, in the last few days, I took her out yesterday morning and she galloped across the cul-de-sac, and she's just been wanting to go on a little farther walk, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, she still has the limp, but
Sure.
she's probably always really good.
Yeah, she may have something that's just not gonna be right.
Right. But this is, to me, 100%
Yeah. It's,
before when we brought her in, and she was just, she didn't want to really do anything, but she just seems happier, and she goes up and down the ramp by herself
oh,
now.
really? Wow.
Yeah, today I took her out and I said, now wait. And I turned around to lock the door and she just scampered up by herself. She was sitting in the back just waiting. Come on.
Wow, that's good.
So I am really happy with how she's doing.
Wow, that's terrific.
After the first one, she just slowly improved, and once she got to her last session, she was just doing amazing. And then we got finished, and she went back to, as you can see in the video you took, she's running, she's, going up and down hills, she's going up and down the stairs 2 and 3 times a day. Nothing seems to stop her. I think she's just overall enjoying her life better now. She walks 2, sometimes 3 times a day, and it's anywhere from 2.5 miles to 4 miles that we put in a day. So she's doing fabulously. She's a happy girl. You look happy, don't you? Yeah.
Daisy her spirit wasn't very vibrant when I brought her. She wasn't wanting to do as much stuff as she had been in the past. When I first brought her in, it was like her front part of her body was so stiff. And now she's able to bend her back and twist, and like I said, she can sit up and beg, where she was not doing any of that. And after one of the treatments, I came home and she was jumping up, like she doesn't normally jump up on people, but she was jumping up on my brother and family members, and they were just like, is this the same dog?
Hi, my name is Gabby, and I'm here with Mia. And Mia started showing signs as far back as 6 months ago of her hind legs not functioning. She would crawl to her food. There were times where she dragged her hind leg, and vets would tell me that that was just a sign of old age. She was getting old. She's 14 years old, and I wouldn't have that. I could see that she was trying to coordinate the mind with her motor skills, with her hind legs, but she couldn't. I reached out to Dr. Nels, and we spoke for 40 minutes on a consultation, We set up an appointment, and through the phone, he would direct me. And every week I would see improvements in Mia. Her spirits were coming back. She started walking faster. She was walking with confidence. From week 1, there was improvements. To the point where Mia, at this point, she hops off, she hops on to the bed, she has got her spirit back. She is just full of life again. Show them how well you do. Oh, thank you, Dr. Nels. Heading to bed, Mia. Mia, show us how you head to bed. Dr. Nels, how great you're doing. She just woke up from her nap, but she's doing fantastic, Dr. Nels. Thank you so much for checking in on her.
Hey, I'm Christy. This is my little dog Chewy, Chewbacca. He's my little Wookiee. He suffers from what's considered a collapsed trachea. It makes him cough, and as he grows older, it's supposedly going to degrade over time to a point where he could be suffocated from not enough oxygen. He was diagnosed probably when he was 5 years old. He's about almost 12 years old now. He has had bouts of extreme coughing fits, where to a point where I feel like he's going to be in a place where it's not good, and it's also hard on his heart. The reason why I went to Dr. Nels is because of this situation. Chewy had a very bad coughing fit, and I'd heard of Dr. Nels' work. And I thought, you know, why not we try it out? Even though he's kind of known for the helping dogs that are crippled and have neurological issues, I thought maybe we could try it for this collapsed trachea situation we have. And sure enough, Chewy had a coughing fit. I didn't know Dr. Nels, and I called him up kind of in an emergency situation. And he called me right back and worked on him over the phone remotely. Didn't know Chewy, hadn't met him yet, and strangely enough, instead of me taking him to the emergency vet like I had planned, probably a few hours later, Chewy was at the dog park running around like nothing happened. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So yeah, I call him my miracle dog, and I call him Dr. Nels Magical for helping him. Recently we had a similar situation where Chewy basically had a severe coughing fit all night long, to a point where I felt I needed to take him to the emergency, so I did. They put him in oxygen, and they also tried to give him anti-anxiety medication to calm him down, but he was at a point where he was in the fight or flight mode. Being at the vet, he just can't handle being at the vet at all, apparently. And a few hours later, the vet had told me to just go home. They were going to run some tests, but a few hours later, the vet called me and said, you probably should come and say your goodbyes, because Chewy's not doing well. His tongue's turning purple and blue, and he just can't get out of this fit of anxiety that he's in, and coughing fit. So, as you can see, Chewy's still with us. I went to the vet and proceeded to tell them if he's going to pass on. They recommended I put him down. They basically said either we'll keep him in the oxygen tank and he'll die there, or you should euthanize him. And we decided to remove Chewy from the oxygen chamber and bring him to my house. Chewy was not in good state. He was basically I couldn't get through to him. His eyes were bulging, his tongue was sticking out, he was panting heavily and coughing and turning blue and purple. And I think he might have almost passed on a few times. And over a course of an hour, Dr. Nels and I worked over the phone and brought him back. I thought he would just die peacefully in his sleep because he finally started to relax after about an hour of working on him. And he actually pulled through. And you see Chewy right now, he's looking pretty good. He's not coughing and he's pretty mellow and happy. His eyes are bright and a lot of life force has been pumped back into him. So I highly recommend Dr. Nels for multiple aspects. He helped me through it and he also helped Chewy through his experience. I have to say Chewy's a lucky dog to have Dr. Nels help with his situation.
This is Buddy. Buddy is a pug chihuahua cross. He was having some digestive problems and he was getting weak in his back quarter. I had him to the vet a number of times and it was very expensive tests, but they could never find anything. And he had a problem jumping up, getting into the car and getting up on, he lives on the sofa and on his chair. I was disappointed that the veterinaries, they take their tests, but they could never come up with any cause. And Dr. Nels just felt him. He said that his neck was out of joint and some problems back in his rear spine that was causing weakness. And I didn't know about Dr. Nels, and then all of a sudden we found out about him, and I was able to bring Buddy here, and it's been a remarkable change. His digestive system is working just wonderfully, and he's getting stronger in his back end. From the first treatment, there's a dramatic change in the animal. He's happier, he's more fun to be around, he's minding a lot better. Like Dr. Nels said, when you're not feeling good, it's hard to be nice. And he wasn't really nice all the time, but it's been a joy since Dr. Nels has treated him. I'm very happy, and I'm happy I got to know Dr. Nels. And I think Buddy's a lot happier too.